And welcome back to Late Night Love. Some nights the world feels like one long stretch of I don't know what to do. The job that drains you, the partner who confuses you, the kid who shuts you out, the friends you might have crossed the line with, the relationships that's been starting for intimacy for years. Tonight we sit in that space together, the space where fear, frustration, and longing all live in the same room. This episode is about the moments when life doesn't give us a clean answer, but still asks us to choose who we're going to be. And the hard part about that is who you're going to be evolves over
And
time,
it does.
over every choice you make as that path, becomes part of the tapestry that is your history, becomes part of who you are. Just there's no way around it.
They do shape us. Our choices. Not, circumstances do, but it's how we respond to them.
Yep. But how you can respond to us is by hitting that like, subscribe, share, all that good fun stuff. You can find us at latenightLove.us. You can send us your questions, comments, suggestions, etc. to love@latenightLove.us. There we go. Got that in there. Nice.
That was a very smooth
Nice
segue.
Nice
darling.
and neat.
Yeah,
and
like that.
Sweet. All right, so we're just gonna step right into the quiet corners of adulthood, the places where work identity and emotional safety collide, from partners who melt down when responsibility shows up, to coworkers who make your body shake, to employers who want loyalty without offering security, to the generational exhaustion of trying to stand on your own 2 feet. This is the part of the night where we name the weight we've been pretending isn't there. That's that kind of truth. I think we all have to deal with those things. The last, few months of my career life has been unsettled, shall we say.
It's been in transition.
Yeah, there's lots of things transition. So,
Yeah.
you kind of buckle down, you do what you need to do. Like many others, it's when you're part of an organization that is downsized, you're the part that's left over. You've got to figure out how to accomplish a mission with less, not just monetary resources, physical resources. Yeah. Sometimes there's vast room for efficiencies, right? Maybe some old, especially nonprofit organizations have a tendency to not evolve with the times. So let's say they'll stay analog in a digital world, and now we're moving past the digital world to an AI world.
Yeah.
And you got some of these places are still, have squarely 2 feet set in the analog world. They're still doing everything by paper. And so, there's room for evolving.
That's a job. That's a project right there.
That's a project and there's lots of people going through it. It's hardly anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not just me. It's everybody. There's a lot of they're blaming AI for layoffs when the reality is they were bloated. They have more people than they need to do the jobs they needed to do. Because of the COVID inefficiencies, they needed more people than they actually need. And that's where, the lack of loyalty is. You got to understand, if there's no job, there's no job. If there's no work to do, there's no job.
Yeah.
It just is. Yeah. Whether it's AI or a computer instead of a typewriter, or a typewriter instead of a quill and pen, this is no different. Mm-hmm. So it's just the next evolution of all that. We as humanity have always evolved past it, and we will again. We just don't know what it's going to look like because we never do.
We never do.
Did we know what the other side of the Industrial Revolution was going to look like? People, no. And of course, the first question is, which one? There's been lots of industrial revolutions. So you have to pick one, but pick any of them. No one knew it was going to be on the other side. Heck, most people didn't even know they were in an industrial revolution when they were in the middle of it. You're too buried in the middle of it to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until you can take a step back and say, this arbitrary period, we're going to call it an industrial revolution. But really, all that means is they changed how industry worked. That's really all the industrial revolutions are. From pure manpower to some type of water power, right? Then you use horses and animal power, and then you get tractors, which, and then you got steam versus internal combustion engine. That was a real change. We went from steam power, water power to electricity.
Yeah.
And internal combustion. Those were two massive changes. One could argue that's the cause of the Great Depression. All the stuff that had powered the generation before was immediately worthless. You couldn't get a loan off of it because it was no longer a functional factory. It was inefficient. The guy with electricity could work 24 hours. You can only work in his daylight. He had 1,000 machines powered by electricity with 1,000 people running, with one person running each machine. Staff of 1,000, you needed 10,000 people to do the same work. No one's going to give you a loan for your building or improvements. It's cheaper to build a new one than to retrofit your old thing. So, yeah, a lot of people's investments became worthless overnight. And when you have margin calls based upon the theoretical value of those investments, next thing you know, lots of people's lives are ruined. Well, they weren't really, but they thought they were. Just had to change how your life was going to be. Yeah. I mean, your life was different, to be sure, but it wasn't, ruined. But
it wasn't over.
Well, far too many chose that path, but
they did. Yeah.
Far too many. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't all that many, but
one's too many.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get started off.
Okay, this is one for you. I feel like my boyfriend fakes meltdowns to avoid doing things I want to do. Now, it's one for me too. I think there's some anxiety going on here. I know for me, if you're going to tell me, let's go do something, panic. Come on, give me at least 2 hours to get ready. Come on. Well, I have anxiety. I can't do that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to understand. Is he anxious, socially awkward? What's the actual issue? Because she says he has a meltdown. Well, is he,
What are you asking him to do? Are you asking him to go against his nature?
Now, on occasion, he should man up and do it, right?
Yeah.
Because I had an anxiety disorder, but on occasion you had to man up. But the other side was you don't over ask. As the second time, if someone gets drained by, parties,
crowds, people,
yeah, then should the on occasion go? Sure, but should you modify your desire to go? Yes, as well. Find a compromise. But also, is there reasons? Is he somewhere on the autism scale, Asperger's or something? So his meltdown is genuine. Is he, like many 22-year-olds these days, simply doesn't know how to manage his emotions and he can't actually have a discussion? And what his meltdown is, he literally doesn't know how to communicate because he's never had to in his life. And now he has to communicate things that are uncomfortable. You see that all over it's not all that new. It's just more prevalent these days. You just see it.
Well, we're looking for it.
Yeah, well, not only are we looking for it, it used to happen quietly. People embarrass themselves quietly and peacefully amongst themselves and their friend groups. Now it's all over the world. And for some reason, they post it themselves. And you're going, why are you doing this? So, but there's also the thing, if she's questioning his motives for having these meltdowns, then, maybe that's a trust your guts moment as well.
Really?
Well, we're giving him too much of a free pass when there's not necessarily, we're giving him a pass. Okay, he's got anxiety, which might be very well true. But at the same time, he may have learned over his life that claiming anxiety and whatnot can get him his way. And so now he's pulling it off as a manipulation tactic. We're human. You can't rule that out. You don't even necessarily have to do it on purpose. You could just be doing it because it works. At least it's worked in the past. Going through school and whatnot, you get all kind of special treatment by being. I'm just saying. So it's not impossible that he is, at least subconsciously, pulling some type of manipulative behavior. May not even be related to her. It's just maybe how he deals with conflict, because he doesn't know any other way, or it's been successful for him in the past.
Well, obviously, or he wouldn't keep doing it. But now he's in a different situation. He's got a girlfriend now.
And now he's no longer it was minor or a person, some kid in college who doesn't have any real responsibilities.
Yeah.
Life is always somewhere down the street. That's future me's problem. Well, now it's future me, and and you haven't prepared future me to deal with these situations. So that's the problem with kicking the can down the road to future you, right?
Eventually, future you has to cash in.
Has to cash in, and if you haven't done anything to prepare him, life's gonna suck for him, which is true. It's his problem. You're not there yet, but eventually you'll catch up to him. That's 100% of the time. All right. So do we give her a good answer? Probably not, but I'm almost wanted. My gut instinct actually tells me to trust her instincts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm pretty tolerant of people's foibles.
Yes, you are.
But one way or another, this is an immature.
Well, I think there's a grain of salt there. He may be ramping it up a little bit to get his way, to really make his point. Maybe he wasn't heard before, so he feels he has to embellish a little bit to get his point across.
Yeah, maybe she doesn't listen as well as she thinks she does.
She doesn't what?
She doesn't listen as well as she thinks she does.
Well, maybe.
But even still, there seems to me like there's an immaturity issue.
There's something going on here.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe this is a lesson he needs to learn the hard way.
Okay. Have you witnessed an office prank that cost someone their job?
Well, office pranks, no, because I try to stay away from historically, I have tried to stay away from carpet walkers. So I don't know the kind of pranks they pull in offices. Now, I can tell you the kind of pranks we pull in warehouses. And generally speaking, the pranks don't cost you your job, but you can have people not pleased at you for a while. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they're usually not pranks. The thing that gets you fired generally aren't pranks. They're just you being stupid. So, I mean, I've seen some doozies, or at least seen the remnants of some doozies. So, the guy backed out with the stick still up and ripped the door off the thing.
Ooh.
Or I wasn't there. The night shift crew did something and somehow knocked the gas pipe loose from the heaters in the ceiling.
Stop it.
Yeah, I've seen all kinds of stuff. So these things, those aren't office pranks. But okay, the fact that is it a prank to be singing songs in Russian and doing donuts in a warehouse when you hit the pipe? Is that a prank? Maybe it might qualify as a prank.
I knew this one individual. Well, actually, it was more than one. They would do those pallet races, and pallet jack races, and the camera caught him, and everyone was fired.
Why are you gonna fire everybody for pallet jack races? You just tell them not to do it again.
I don't know. Apparently they had.
No, well, no, because you can't say not. You have to tell them not to do it because otherwise your insurance company gets all mad at you when they hit a little pebble and one of them goes flying face first into a wall. It's that's the problem. The the guys generally probably doesn't care except for the insurance cares.
Yeah,
Always bummers, man. Those insurance guys,
I know.
bean counters,
Bean counters.
spoil sports, party poopers, all that good fun stuff. Okay.
Okay. Just saw this. Most Gen Z workers struggle to live on their own. Is anyone actually surprised? In
Uh,
this economy? No.
in no economy. So I want to know since when has the generation who's youngest, the beginning generation, has ever not struggled when they've gotten out and survived on their own? When has that ever been a
When
case?
is it ever?
I get it. It's tough out there. I understand, and the challenges are different than the challenges I faced. I faced, which are different than the challenges you faced. But every single person who are beginning their lives face this problem. It's nothing unique to Gen Z or millennials or Gen X. We all had to face it. Or we had to share a 2-bedroom apartment with 3 other people.
Yeah.
It's just the way it was.
Yeah.
They did that for 6 months until someone could save up enough money to move in with their boyfriend or girlfriend until that blew up in your face and you went and couch surfing again. You guys haven't invented anything new. Doesn't help you at the moment, but you're not this unique victim. This is just what happens when you're young.
It's called salad days for a reason.
Now, we could argue that there's a cultural problem that we have these days that we didn't used to have, where families stuck together longer, both on the front side and the back,
Yeah.
but it wasn't as universally true as we like to think.
Mm.
But also now with our more, urban lifestyle, it's hard to do that in the city. You could still pull it off in the suburbs.
Yeah.
But that's when 60%, 70% of people were living in rural areas, and it was easy to live with your parents because you had 40 acres to go goof around on. You didn't have to deal with them all the time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
You saw them at mealtime,
Yeah.
and in the evening. But then you escaped to your room.
Well, and for most of that time, they didn't have like light bulbs and stuff.
Yeah.
So once the day was over, the day was over. And now we live a whole different lifestyle than those times did. So comparing us to them isn't really relevant. But this is just what happens with first generation.
It always does.
Always has.
Yeah.
So does it help you live on? Does it help them any? No.
I would think it does, It's just like, okay, this is just a period in my life. This will change.
Yeah, but we didn't. Sadly, for whatever reason, these kids didn't learn about periods of their lives. I don't know. Did any of us ever?
Well, I knew I strove, but I started early. I went into the army at 17, man.
Well, I think maybe there is a difference. Is they have a lot of people telling them the world is ending, the world is over, it's the worst it's ever been. There's no hope for the future.
Oh, poor little things. No.
And even us, when we were worried about bombs, doing nuclear bomb drills, hiding under our desks every time you hear the siren. The siren.
I know.
But at some point, we all just stopped caring. We all thought about it it's like we kind of universally at some point thought about it. Well, this is dumb. Why would you want to survive the nuclear bomb? And so we just stopped caring and just went on about our lives and screw it and had a good time anyway. And for better or for worse, I'm not necessarily saying that was a good thing or a bad thing, but we all just kind of shrugged our shoulders and screw it and went on about life. Maybe that's why Gen X is so screwed up. We just kind of decided, the bomb could fall on our head any minute now. Screw it. Let's just go have some fun. And
That's what happened.
Now we don't care about the world because the world don't care about me. Why should I care about it? You know, I don't know. But I do feel bad for them because they don't have enough people telling them that this is just part of life and you just keep grinding and next thing you know, you're at level 10 and you can actually do things.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Level 10.
Well, it's a video game reference.
I know. All right. Prospective employer wants me to quit current job before they make an offer.
No, you don't quit your current job until you've got a signed offer on your right. That's sketchy.
That's what I thought.
Now, there could be, I guess technically there might be some industries that have some weird rules and regulations, but man, I'd be very sketchy.
That'd be very.
Well, one, if that's the culture of the place, do you really want to
Do you want to work there?
for some place that behaves like that? You know, that's a cultural red flag. Again, if it's some defense department thing or something, maybe I can understand, right? You're working for a defense contractor or something like that. All right. You have weird rules and things like that. It might make some sense. But you may have some agreements to not poach employees. And so to get around that, you have to quit before they give you an offer. You know, so there's a little faith there. But outside of those rare circumstances, and quite frankly, you would know if you were in those circumstances. So
You think so?
probably
Okay.
you should know
Should know, yeah.
if you're in those circumstances.
Okay.
So, I would be very skeptical of that, frankly. Just from a cultural perspective, forget about any, they're playing some kind of games, then how often, where else are they going to play games? They're playing games hiring you. How often are they going to play games with you? Oh, excuse me. Hiccup there.
Yeah.
It's not a good cultural sign.
No, it's not.
Barring special circumstances, right? Okay.
What is the worst example of the cure being worse than the disease from your workplace? It's just stupid little rules that, because one person did something, now everybody is not allowed. Everybody has to change their behavior and do something different.
Mine are, generally speaking, budgetary related. It's you give people money for equipment, but you don't give them money for anybody to do anything with equipment. So you end up with closets full of stuff that no one can use because there's no one to use them. You'd be better off not have spending that and money on that equipment and hiring another person, even part-time, just to do some of the work. And it happens in every place, every industry, anything that gets a certain size, a budgetary size where you're making decisions. And the reason is it's easier to justify equipment than people.
Is it?
On paper? Sure.
Yeah.
Remember, you have to write a paper and propose all these things. It's far easier to justify equipment on paper.
Okay.
So that's why it happens. And also remember, equipment's a single one-time cost. You hire somebody, that's a cost that goes on and on and on. Or you have to do an unfortunate thing of let them go.
Yeah.
Of course, you also could be investing in a future, a future high-level employee if you're smart about this thing.
Sure.
But immediate budgets are immediate budgets. And in times of, budget, can't even say shrinkage because the budgets aren't actually shrinking. It's just the margins are getting tight and people's wants are getting bigger. And so there's essentially more, the pie is getting bigger, but there's more people wanting more of it. Which essentially ends up happening is nothing gets done properly. Because because instead of say, okay, we only have so much, we're going to have to focus on core objectives, and everything else is going to have to survive on its own. As tough as it is, until you get budgets right, right?
Yeah.
Just like a household, in a sense, it's just like a household budget, but it's not, right? Corporate budgets, you have bridge loans and stuff you can get through a rough patch. Same thing with governments, right? They can money is fungible.
Fungible.
They can fund programs now that need the money with programs that, with money that's supposed to fund a program now, but we're going to delay that program for a year and give that money for this one. And then we're going to give the program from over here their money next year. And it'll all work out in 3 years. Whether it does or not, no one cares because no one can follow all that mess. And that's how budget. How do you think government budgets get bloated? And no one can track it. Right? This is how it happens. And some of it is understandable and some of it's not. And that's the hard part of it, is deciphering the two. Because some of it makes sense and logic to do when you're talking about core missions and things like that. And other things are just you're flushing money down a toilet, essentially. And, sadly, with borrowed money or high opportunity cost, you could be doing something else with it.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll move on. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like she wants to keep me hidden or a secret. No, she won't introduce him to family or friends.
Yeah.
She's just not ready yet.
I have a daughter like that. So
maybe she did it before and it was awful. And she just doesn't want to deal with it again right now.
Yeah, maybe she feels like here's the other thing. Maybe it's not you she's trying to keep the secret. Maybe you're not the one she's embarrassed by. It's her family that she's embarrassed by. I want you to meet these people. There's lots of reasons. Right? She could also think that that's a level of commitment she's not ready to make simply because she's too young to want to make it. We're talking 21 years old.
Yeah, she's 21.
So I don't know. I understand part of the concern, but you also don't say how long this has been going on.
No.
Is it 6 months or 6 weeks?
No. They just started dating.
Oh, stop it. You haven't earned that right yet. That's all that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, those other things could very well be true as well, right? She might be embarrassed by her family and all that kind of stuff, but you're not serious enough for that to be a thing yet. So don't worry about it.
Like I said, she ain't ready.
Yeah. And I got a daughter like that. So yeah, you deal with it or you don't.
How long has she been with him?
I don't know. She may have even changed by now. Who knows, man? She don't tell me nothing. I have to ask her grandmother to find out. And it's not like we don't talk. We were texting earlier. It's just she does this.
It's just not one of the things she talks to you about.
No, I think she thinks I jinx it. I don't know how that happens. That's the rumor from the family chat.
You jinx it?
I jinx it. But when she introduces the thing to her current interests to the family, within 6 months, it's over. Of course, the problem is that's kind of how the relationship things work. You get serious and you find out you're not serious enough and it moves on. And it's just part of the cycle of relationships that don't work out.
Yeah.
But in my daughter's mind now, I'm jinxing. I'm the jinx. So be it.
Yes, you want her to be alone forever. My little girl will remain pristine.
Well, that ship sailed a long time ago. So I'm not worried about that. I'm just, hey, whatever. She is what she is. So, okay.
Coworkers so bad I get home shaking and nauseous. I used to have a boss that would make me cry. I'd cry every day on my way home from work.
Well, the only real way to deal with this is if it's a big enough company, you can deal with HR and go
Yeah.
that path. If
It's a coworker. He was a boss. Mine was a boss.
But I always solve these things by finding someplace else to work. And again, it's an easy off the cuff answer, right? Because oh yeah, just go find someplace else. That's right. But we all know life isn't that easy. That is the best answer. Is to find someplace else that has a work environment that better suits you.
Mm-hmm.
That is the correct best answer, but it's not always practical, at least in an immediate sense.
You're right.
So you try to deal with it. I don't want to assume she hasn't tried to deal with it or they haven't tried to deal with it. I'm assuming I don't think most guys don't go home shaking and nauseous. They may go home and kick things in the garage, but they don't.
Yeah, it's a she.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd go to HR, man.
Well, yeah, you were assuming they have.
Well, you go to your supervisor, or you go to their supervisor.
Yeah, but my guess is everybody sees whatever's happening.
Yeah, but you have to formally go through steps.
Well, if the company's big enough, we're
Yeah.
assuming that it's a large enough company to have an HR department.
Yeah.
Like we don't have one. We have a HR company consultant thing we call when we have HR issues. We don't have our own HR department.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you have one of those to call, and you can deal with that way. There's that.
I'd head to HR, man.
Yeah,
But I didn't go to HR. I just.
well, and here's the problem.
I worked so hard that I got another, and they promoted me, and I got another boss, and he was much better.
Well, let's see. I spent far too much time on assembly line floors and warehouses and whatnot to give an appropriate answer to people on this one. Yeah, there's ways to respond to this. None of them are particularly legal, but there's lots of ways to respond to this. Some of them can get you fired and put in jail. But there's ways to get revenge. But I would not suggest that.
Well, no.
Because that's actually a reflection of you, how you respond to these things.
Yeah.
Okay. In the long term, you go through the process of that. You follow Christina's, right? The other side is you find the people in your work environment who have the same perspective on what's going on as you do. So it's not just you whining about it. This guy, whoever's doing this behavior is probably universal. It's rarely directed at a single person. The people are generally just crass human beings, right?
Yeah.
So you can deal with that. And the third one is hire a comedian to write you some comebacks. But my suggestion long term is to find a different job. But working to get them fired is another option.
Stop it.
Well, there's the two options, right? You move on or they move on. I didn't have a good answer for this one, so. Well, okay, I have plenty of answers for this one. I just don't have any I can say on that I could tell publicly. There's lots of things you shouldn't do. I can tell you lots of things you shouldn't do. Maybe that's how I should go. Here's all the things you shouldn't do.
Stop it. Get him fired.
Well, I need more details. I do need a bit more details.
Okay.
Because one version of in the modern world, I've seen people shake because and be nauseous because someone used the wrong pronoun to somebody else, and someone wasn't even the other person wasn't even offended, right? But they're so offended for them that they get all worked up. So I do need a bit more details because she may very well be overreacting. I'm not gonna say she is because I don't have enough information. But we're assuming that her reaction is reasonable.
Mm.
Her reaction may not be reasonable to the circumstances that are. He may very well just have some cultural disagreements. She's going to have to learn to work with people who have, cultural disagreements.
Okay.
So, yeah, that is another possibility. As I shotgun the approach to some kind of an answer on this thing, there is a second perspective. She may not be being reasonable. I mean, because unless someone is sexually harassing you, and did she say that?
No.
She's just saying he's an awful person. She can't stand being around him.
Yeah.
So
he's abusive. He's, one of those sarcasm people,
okay.
That doesn't do it very well.
Okay, I said, well, I'm a sarcasm person.
You making it, yeah, but you aren't. You aren't vicious.
Yes, I am. What are you talking about?
No, you're not.
I can be.
Yeah, not to me.
Well, I can be. I'm just saying.
Well, I can be a vicious, what, too.
So I'm just saying. I'm guessing there's a little bit of both on this one. She's being a little sensitive. He probably is being an inconsiderate jerk. Don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah.
Workplace behavior, but she's probably also taking these things personally when it's really not about her.
Okay.
Right? If this is just how he is, he's not being mean. He's trying to be funny, and he's not, which comes off as mean.
I once had somebody at work. I was overweight. He said, "You're as big as a billboard."
You know what's funny? You say this. I've been watching these shorts. This I guess she's the weather girl or the weather woman in some station somewhere, and she's a thick lady. She looks good, but she's a thick lady, and so she gets comments on social media about her weight, and she sits there and she reads them, and she has a great sense of humor about these things because some of these things are not pleasant, but she laughs. On occasion she gets offended by ones, but for the most part she kind of leans into it. She's having a good time with it. She's becoming a big social media star.
Ooh.
Because of how she's responding to this. She's just going with it. She's leaning into it now.
Yeah.
She's yeah. So people now are posting trying to get red on her thing. And so now they're getting even better, right? Because people are trying to get creative to get me.
Yeah.
And so I don't even think people are being mean to her at this point. I just think they're trying to get something that she'll read. And so she's kind of leaned into it.
Okay.
So if he is looking for a power move, there's the other option. You can just take away all the power.
Take away all the power.
If that is what he's doing. But I suspect he's just not very good at what he's trying to pull off. And she's a little sensitive. You put those two things together and you've got a soup of poop, shall we say. Yeah. So for no good answer to that whole question, there you go.
There you go.
Life doesn't always give us fair choices, but it does give us moments of clarity, tiny flashes that remind us we deserve steadiness, respect, and room to breathe. Hold on to that as we move into the next chapter of tonight. Have a good night. Please remember to love everybody. Nasally doesn't necessarily mean I am nasally, but I hear myself as nasally. How's that?
Oh, well, now that you say it, you're a little nasally.
I would think you would hear it before me. I'm just saying. I'm a little tired today. I think that's what my problem is.
Oh,
It was a long week.
yes, it was. You haven't been sleeping very well. No, you didn't the other night.
My legs have been hurting.
My honey.
Okay.
Well, weather's changing. We're in for 5 days of sunshine. It's coming up.
All right. Ready?
Yeah, here we go.
And welcome back to Late Night Love. Parenting is love in its rawest form, messy, confusing, and sometimes heartbreaking. Tonight, we sit with parents who are grieving their kids' choices, worried about their kids' secrets, and trying to understand the distance that grows as children become their own people. From vaping to lying to shutting down emotionally, this segment is about the love that keeps showing up even when we're scared we're getting it wrong. That, that is one of the hard things, right, about parenting is we often forget that we're actually trying to take this little thing that cannot take care of itself,
Yes.
that's barely bigger than your hand, and take this into a fully functional human being adult that can function on their own.
In 18 years.
I mean, in past in history, the timeline was much shorter than that. But yeah, in a relatively short period of time, a quarter of their lifespan,
Yeah,
and send them off to be a functional human being.
I know. It's bizarre.
Yeah,
But that's your job.
that's the job. And sometimes we get so caught up in raising the children, we forget that the goal is we're raising adults.
We absolutely are.
We're not raising children. In a sense, you think of them like a plant. Like you're tending your garden.
Now, there's a time for everything. I mean, your child doesn't have to be pushed. There are developmental stages along the way that,
Oh yeah, there's no.
things you introduce more independence along the way. What I'm saying is, you let a 5-year-old be a 5-year-old,
Yeah, hey, you got to figure out go back to the farming metaphor. You got to figure out which kind of plant you're growing, because what you do for zucchini is vastly different than what you do for corn. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you prepare the line, you completely different way to take care of these two types of plants. And so you as a parent had to figure out what kind of freaking plant do I have? Am I growing grapes here or
Am I growing an introvert or an extrovert?
Yeah. There's the whole kind of
Is this an athletic person? Is this a bookish? Do they just tend towards the scholarly? What?
and do I make sure I give them enough opportunity, because just in case I'm wrong,
Yeah.
they have the opportunity to find something themselves, and I get the opportunity to be proved wrong. You can't you're doing a disservice if you hyper focus. Hey, this child is going to be an athlete, and hyper focus on their lives. Yeah, okay. So on occasion, you're going to pop out a LeBron James or a Williams sisters, but that's not how most of even the greatest athletes are made. They make themselves over time. Michael Jordan didn't have parents who pushed him like that. Okay, Tiger Woods did, but most of them didn't. Tom Brady, yeah, parents who supported them.
Yes. But they didn't hyper focus when they were 5 years old and put them in a little football league.
Yeah, well, maybe they put them in a football league, but they let them play baseball. They let them play basketball. They encouraged them to follow in on their studies, which is why they came out as a well-rounded human being ready to take on a role and become amongst the greatest of all time to play their respective sports positions.
Because they're well-rounded people.
Yeah, they're well-rounded people, but they were also self-motivated.
Now there's a key.
They didn't have people pushing them into something they weren't sold on themselves.
Yeah.
How many of these great athletes do we find they get their first big paycheck and now they've lost all their motivation? They become shells of the player they were literally the season before. They no longer have motivation. They've achieved their goal. Their goal wasn't to be the best ever. Their goal was to get to the NFL, get their payday, and now they've achieved everything.
That was their goal.
That was their goal.
That was the end result.
You weren't doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah. Be in the Football Hall of Fame.
No, they were doing it because it was their way out of it was the way for generational wealth.
Yeah.
And good for them. I'm not, but, you know, I have no problem with it. You know, you got paid for the years you gave. You were technically underpaid because everybody else around you was getting overpaid.
There you go.
Yeah. So I don't have any problem with that's the way the system works. That's the way the system works.
Hey, you know, there's something to be said with getting out while you still have your health. You know?
Yeah. Well,
because football's brutal.
Well, it works the other way. How often? It works more often the other way, right? Where players don't get paid what they theoretically deserve. So, yeah. You kind of feel bad that the one player got an oversized contract while all these other people are not getting enough.
I know.
But the system is what the system is. So if a player gets one, and players get over on occasion, good for them, I guess. I'm not gonna cry any rivers for these, for these sports owners, sports team. Oh no, the Dodgers have to eat $10 million contract. Oh, yeah. Oh no, the horrors. It's just cry me a river. It's just, or it's kind of it's even getting ridiculous. The Atlanta Falcons released a quarterback, and they had to eat like $40 million worth of salary or something. Just released them and ate the $40 million. Yeah, whatever. It's like it's a rounding error or something. And hey, the guy's fine, right? Don't feel sorry for the dude. He doesn't have to play anymore, and walks off with a big payday. Just don't feel. It's just a rounding error in how big all this has gotten these days.
Yeah.
That's all. Anyway, as we've gone way off topic on this thing, let's get us back here on topic a little bit. You can say, like, subscribe, share. You can find us at latenightLove.us, and you can send us your questions, comments, suggestions, etc. to love@latenightLove.us. And I hit those manners backwards, by the way, just because it's one of those nights. All right. We are on to our parenting questions.
Okay, now here's one I can relate to.
Okay.
Excuse me. My daughter broke up with her boyfriend, and I'm sad for him.
Yeah.
He's 17. They're both 17, and she liked him. He was a nice kid.
Yeah.
But it's not, she's in the boyfriend of the week club,
Well, your daughter isn't good enough for him. That's why she felt sad for him. So let's be honest. He's probably better off at the moment.
I know.
Yeah. What she's sad about is your daughter won't settle on some boy who's nice and will treat her good. She's off on the boyfriend of the week club because she doesn't know what she wants.
Yeah.
Which, of course, she's 17. Of course, she doesn't know what she wants. Duh. It's like, how many 17-year-olds, regardless of gender, frankly, have any idea what they want? 1%? Maybe?
I want to have fun.
Yeah.
I want a fun guy.
Even if they know what they want, it'll change next month. Or next week, in this particular case.
He wasn't serious. I want someone, he was just too fun. I want someone who's more serious.
Yeah. He was too nerdy. I want a nerdy guy. And it's going to go all over the place because whatever. And then you've got the Taylor.
And then there's the bad boy phase, which will scare you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Or it's the Taylor Swift effect. Taylor Swift has romance problems. They have romance problems. And vice versa. So.
You're kidding me.
No, it used to be a thing. Probably not so much a thing now since she's now settled in a relationship. But when she was always bouncing through relationships and she had all those angst songs, all these young girls who followed their songs and had angst in their lives magically. Imagine that. It's nothing new. I'm not blaming Taylor Swift. This goes back to the beginning of rock and roll and whatnot.
Probably before that.
Yeah, it's not a complaint to Taylor Swift. I just
You know, the course of Nero. You know? I
it's
mean,
just-
come on.
for this generation,
Yeah,
the Taylor Swift effect is a
Okay.
good label. That's all it is. It's got nothing to do with Taylor Swift herself. It's just she happens to be the center of a large gravity,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing with Taylor herself. There's plenty of bands that pick up their moody of their generation, right?
Mhm.
We had ours, you know, depending upon your
I was recently introduced to a moody Christian band.
yeah. See, there's something out there for everybody.
Talk about angst.
Oh, could you think of being anything worse than a Christian comic? I just
That'd probably be freaking funny.
well, yeah, but that'd be hard. You'd have to be. I mean, you can get good at it, I suppose.
But boy, would you ride that line.
And your line would change depending upon what church you're at. Some churches are a little more, you know, you have to really read a room.
I just thought of Southern Baptist.
Yeah. It's the same denomination, but you can go to different churches and they can have, you know, I don't want to say vastly different lines of what you can cross, but they're not going to be the same spot.
No.
And so one joke will work in one place and not in the other. So, okay.
All right. Just found evidence that my 11-year-old son is vaping cannabis.
Okay, that's A, she knows it cannabis and not one of these other things that they're vaping.
Yeah. Cannabis.
Okay. Just as long as she's sure about that, because they're vaping all kinds of candy stuff these days. And so A, make sure it actually is
vaping candy.
Yeah. And they think it's cool. It's like us eating candy cigarettes.
Oh. Okay. Got it.
Not saying it's good for them, but
No. I got it.
But either was sucking on things on what?
You know, and pretending we were smoking. Come on.
Yeah.
I got it.
I got it. But we're assuming this is actual cannabis. You actually have to have a discussion with this child about the long-term dangers of choices.
At 11 years old, come on. Where is he getting this? The other, you know, he's from a friend, you know, and
someone's friend has a mother who also drinks or something, and they pick one out of her purse every other day or something of this nature. This is how someone's getting it.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. Or there's someone lives with their grandma and this is grandma's medicine and they pilfer grandma's medicine every now and again.
Yeah.
It's generally speaking how these things are gotten at that age.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I'm more worried about having the long-term discussion. You know, I had with my children. Yes, lots of people do these kinds of things with, you know, without any long-term repercussions, but it's really easy to screw up your life and you're 11, you know, it makes life harder than it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so why do you want to make life harder than it needs to be? You just have the realistic discussion. You don't try to scare them because they're not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
They see the world, you know. So you can't protect them from that world, but you can, you know, teach them how to analyze it. It's the only way through these things these days. You know, you almost want to have the German attitude towards alcohol, but I don't think America's quite ready for that. So,
No.
But
no, definitely not ready for that.
But you know, you definitely have to have the discussion. And then how far after that you want to take it is up to individuals. You know, you might have an instinct of which friend to not let them come over anymore. But
yeah,
you know, but he's going to have to learn how to navigate the world himself relatively soon anyway. So yeah, these are precarious times, but make sure it's cannabis and not some goofy, she's not overreacting and he's doing some goofy candy, flavored candy thing that is relatively popular these days.
Okay. That's a good one. I had no idea about that.
Yeah. Whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, they are, right?
Yeah, it just is.
It just is. They exist, so make sure it's actually cannabis, and you just don't see a vape pen and say,
there's cigarettes.
Yeah, and
you know,
there's tobacco vape pen.
nicotine.
Vape pen. It could very well be one of those.
Yeah, I don't know. Get to the heart of this.
But at 11 years old, my assumption is that he's got one of those candy vape pens that teenagers use, and he's trying to look cool.
Yeah.
Just my instinct on it. But it's 11. It's not out the realm of possibility that one of his friends got his hold of one of his grandma's
Yeah.
vape pens. And it also wouldn't be surprising me if this is the first time he's got one.
And he got busted.
Because he's 11. You don't know the difference.
Yeah, he don't know.
You don't know how to hide things yet. And the odd thing is, catching him is going to teach him how. And it's the double edge of this sword. Now he's going to know to be more careful because he got busted.
Oh, I remember my sneaky days.
Yeah, it's like an arms race, right? Man. Okay.
My son is turning 17 and he's the most detached kid I've ever met. What do I even get him? He doesn't do anything but play video games. Cash. He's 17. Let him buy the game he wants.
Well, here's the thing. If you want him to get out of the house and go experience something, buy him and a couple of his friends an experience at a local VR place so they can go play a video game in a big VR room.
Ooh.
All right. Give him the experience. Costs a lot. It's going to cost a couple $100 to send him and 3 of his friends over there. Spend an extra $100 for dinner. So it's going to cost $300. But look, if you want him to get out the house and go have an experience, there you go. Have him do something like that. That way he has to get out the house if he wants his present, but he's also doing something he would like.
Yeah.
That he probably can't afford.
Yeah.
Because he's 17 and playing video games all the time. So offer him something that is unique, but also right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So that's my suggestion. Okay.
My eldest daughter is lying, stealing, and sneaking things she shouldn't. She's 5.
No way, man.
Totally is.
Like cookies? And
Yeah. Candy.
No.
Yeah.
This has never happened in the history of children.
Yeah, well, she's afraid for her moral values.
Clearly. This is a sign. This child is attracted to the devil. And it is time to call the priest and get some holy water and spread. No, seriously, this is a perfectly normal part of.
It is lying, stealing.
I mean,
absolutely. Right up there, 5. Absolutely.
Especially when you're talking about snacks and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing. I have a niece who used to, she would take she'd sneak Oreos, take the, eat the inner sides out of them, and then throw the cookie things behind the couch at my sister's house. And so every now and again, what the hell is all these cookie things doing? So you find all these cookies right everywhere. Well, half the innards eating out of cookies everywhere. And so this is perfectly normal, routine part of child development. How seriously you want to take it is
okay. You need to develop a sense of humor. I'm sorry,
because some of this is just funny part of natural development, and
it really is.
And some of this is okay. There may be a line that even for 5-year-olds they're crossing, but I have a suspicion this is just a mother who's got it in her head that everything's supposed to go perfectly. And why is this child?
Well, she wants this sweet angel little girl that she had pictured in her mind.
Oh, see, you ruined it. See, if you picture a chaotic little girl in your mind, then you're gonna get the sweet little one. You pictured the sweet little girl in your mind, and life goes, ha! And you get the chaotic little one. But truth be told, all children are chaotic. She's just chaotic in wanting her sweets. There's a number of ways to handle this. You could lock these things away. I'm sure you've explained to her all the, tell you the blue in the face that she's not allowed to take these things. So that's, at this stage, she doesn't care. I suppose you could go some form of punishment route. Won't work, but you could try it. But yeah. My solution to all these things is you stop buying them the stuff they like to steal.
Ooh.
If it's not in the house, they can't take it. And then they ask, why don't, hey, can I have cookies? No, because you keep stealing them. You don't have to punish anybody this way. It is a punishment, but it's not.
You don't get any cookies. But, you know.
No one's getting cookies. Why?
Yeah.
Because you stole.
Because you're stealing.
Because you take them. Yeah. Which sometimes is better off because now you're having less sweets and stuff in the house. And then you add it back later on when they get the point.
Yeah.
Just one day you start buying their stuff again. But they generally get the point. So you can punish them without punishing them. It's not really a punishment to stop buying things.
No.
Yeah. To replace fruit roll-ups with fruit.
With an apple.
Yeah. You don't get fruit roll-ups anymore. Now you get an apple. I don't like apples. Sounds like a personal problem. Kids hated that one. I don't want an apple. Sounds like a personal problem. I don't seem to be bothered by that. I just okay.
Thanks for the info.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. You know. Yeah. I hated that one. Okay.
Okay. Would you let your teen daughter still be friends with someone after a physical fight? Okay. Both these girls are 14. They're best friends. And they just one day they just got into it and they ended up rolling around on the floor.
Okay, well, if you did this to boys, you wouldn't have any friends. So remember, I raised boys, right? And this is just part of, boys' friendships, right? You test each other's lines, you find out where it is. But you're also your best friend's the one who teaches you where social lines are. This is how these things work. Right, for boys. I didn't raise girls. I don't really know how girls' relationships work.
You raised one.
I don't know how girls' relationships work. I did not raise a normal girl.
I came in when she was 10.
Yes.
I tried.
The ship had sailed. What are you talking about? She had 3 older brothers. She was lost. And me. Yeah, she had 3 older brothers and me. It was lost. Let's be honest. So,
well, she did end up going to a few dances. So, I consider it a victory.
I'll take what we can get. But so I don't necessarily know about girls, but I do know for boys that this is just part of, relationships boys have. Oftentimes you end up with better friends because you learn how to, navigate these type of difficulties. You learn how to talk it out. Yeah. Sorry, man, I was being stupid. Yeah, I know. That punch hurt. Yeah, I know. So did that one. You do. You go over that. It's fine. And as long as they know how to do that part of it, my suggestion is to stay out of it.
Yeah, I would too, hun.
Yeah, if it's a routine thing,
then there's something else. But if this is a one-off,
yeah,
then it's not that worrisome.
And here's the thing, it's probably over something stupid. I will almost guarantee you.
Oh yeah.
They're probably embarrassed about it. I would suggest.
Yeah. I think so.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, it might be something really dumb. Now, just out of pure curiosity, I want to know what it was about. Just because I'm curious.
She didn't say.
Yeah, but I just want to know. Now I'm curious.
I know.
It's probably over a boy. Right? What else do 14-year-old girls fight over? I can't think of anything else. But then again, I don't have much experience with 14-year-old. Right?
Well, you get called a bitch, then them's fighting words.
Well, I'm trying to think
at 14. Now you turn 21 and you're like, that's all you got?
Trying to think of what your daughter would fight with her friends over.
I'll pick on one of her friends.
Yeah.
pick on one of her other friends. Just oh God, with Victoria, what would it take? I don't know.
Yeah, well, she had other ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they didn't last.
Yeah. So anyway, it's not a big deal as long as it's not a big deal. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. These things happen at 14 years old. For boys, it's relatively routine. Boys wouldn't have any friends left if you made them stop hanging out with them. So don't navigate the relationship, but you may want to make sure that they actually work through it properly.
Yes, sitting down for a talk.
Yeah, you don't have to sit down for a talk. One of these days when you're sitting in alone, not with the rest of your family, just you and your daughter in like the kitchen or something, having a snack. Hey, so what was that whole ruckus with you and and what's her name was about?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, oh, Mom, it was stupid, right? I'll guarantee you the response is going to start with, Mom, it was stupid. I will almost guarantee it. So take that for what you will. All right.
Okay, now this is just shocking.
Okay.
My 12-year-old is taken to spending most of her time in her room. She gets sullen when she has to go with us somewhere, and she doesn't want to go. Her dad, my husband, takes this personally. How can I help my family communicate better and or establish some better norms?
What?
Shocking.
No way.
She's 12, and she wants to be home in her room alone. Thank you very much.
She's 12, so she's essentially a teenager, right?
Yeah.
So you got a teenager who is sullen and doesn't want to go anywhere with their parents because their parents are embarrassing.
Hello.
And she's got so much better things to do. And
like her friends online. Hello.
Or not even that she might want to reading a book is more interesting than you, quite frankly, as a parent.
Was for me.
So,
I would go with my family and sit and read in a corner.
Okay, now here's the thing. This is what you need to actually have your husband tell your husband to come listen to this, because here's the advice for your husband, which is the real problem here. Is if your husband wants to reconnect and have spend time with his daughter, which is what he wants, right? He probably, for the first time in his life, he probably has time to engage with his daughter. She's old enough at a point where they can interact, he can understand, because a lot of men have trouble with young kids. They just don't understand them, right? So until they get older is when men step into the role, and at this point he's ready to step into that fatherly role, and she has shut the door on him, but he hasn't opened it properly. See, at this stage, if you want this door to open, you have to give her the opportunities that she needs. Does she want to go somewhere? You take her. She wants to go shopping, you're the one who takes her, not her mother. You're going to have to inconvenience yourself for her good before she's going to come back and reconnect with you, and you want her to do it for you. This is just how teenage girls operate. This is the one thing I did learn about teenage girls. Right? You give them opportunities on their time frame, and they open up to you. Because you're not expecting anything from them. You're helping them. And you get to see those moments. It's actually better this way because you get to see what they like. You get to see them when they're in what they're interested in. You get to see them at their best, not when they're drudging around being bored because they're going to a train convention that you find interesting. And it may very well be interesting, even for people who are interested in trains. But she's 13. She's not going to be interested in it.
Yeah.
So take her to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I got 2 tickets. I want to go to Comic-Con. Says, why do you want to go to Comic-Con? I don't know. It looks like fun. I'm feeling old, so I want to go to something youthful. And have her take you to Comic-Con. Something she's more interested in.
Yeah.
Start there. And she'll see right through it. She's going to know that you're doing this for no other reason than
She'll know.
Yeah, she'll know. And she's going to ask you. Your answer is yes, I am.
Yeah.
it saddens
I'd
me.
like to be with you.
It saddens me that we don't have a better relationship. That's my responsibility. So I'm trying to do my part to fix it.
There you go.
Because guess what? You as a dad, it is your responsibility to fix things. It's your responsibility to build things.
You're
It's
the
your,
dad.
it's your responsibility to protect things. And sometimes that means you're the one who's got to eat the crap sandwich. Yeah, you eat a lot of them as dad. And sometimes it gets tiring. And sometimes it doesn't feel like, your children appreciate you, but you've got to see the world from their side. Re-engage with them.
I got news. When your child turns 25, you both will get really smart. And they'll come to you for advice. And what do I do next? And I can't do this. Okay. So it all comes around.
It does. It comes around. If you're a half decent parent, it comes around.
It comes around.
Yeah. Oh, now that I'm a parent, Dad, I understand where you're coming from on a lot of these things. Yeah, it's all
Wait
good.
for it. Wait for it.
It happens.
Wait for it.
Oh,
Because
now
it
I get it.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now I get it. Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't need you to get it as a teenager. It was fine. I didn't expect you to. So maybe change your expectations a little bit as well. But
I got one that comes to me. I'm sorry. I ran you all over Roseville, and I used you for a ride. Through the age of 13 to 16. Yeah, I know.
yeah, but you know why you do it? Because you don't have this. You guys have been connected your entire lives because you did those things for her.
Yes,
So the same thing. This father is going to have to do those things.
and it pays off
It-
big time.
right? It just is.
It does.
But my suggestion, if you want to jumpstart it, find something she likes, Comic-Con, a concert that even take her to a Taylor Swift's expensive. Take her to a Taylor Swift tribute band or something. I don't know. Maybe she might not like Taylor Swift, but find something she's genuinely interested in. She's in there playing video games. Comic-Con is usually a good place to do those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Take her down to the local used video game store and buy some new game for her old console because those things are coming back, retro things.
Ooh.
Or, hey, here's one. If you played video games in your youth, go buy yourself an old retro game setup and ask her to help.
There you go.
What games she might like to play.
Yeah.
So you can get some. So there's opportunities here. You just have to be creative to re-engage. And it's important that you do, because the last thing you want is a teenager that doesn't know her father loves her.
Trust me.
I heard a story about a Marine who learned he was going to have a daughter for the first time. And so he went and asked his biggest, shall we say, man whore that he knew in the Marines. How do I protect my girls from people like you? It says, make sure she knows she loves you. Make sure she knows you love her. That's all you got to do. People like me aren't attractive if she knows
that she has unconditional love.
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah. If she knows her father loves her, then people like me aren't attractive. So this is when you want to make sure you've got that embedded deep.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay, here's the last one. Kids constantly asking for candy. How do you handle it without being the mean parent?
Say no isn't being mean.
But she's losing her temper.
Who, the child?
No, the mom.
Well, don't lose your temper. Just say no.
Get a handle on it.
Yeah. It's saying no is not mean. Losing your temper because the child is being a child. It's understandable at the end of the day to reach your kind of, be tired of having to say no, be tired of hearing the same things and all of that. So maybe say yes on a little bit more often, just not a lot. Once or twice, toss them a few more snacks. Maybe they're actually sending you a sign that you're not actually giving them enough snacks. little overly serious about their diet, maybe. It's not an impossibility. But also understand that saying no, nice, calm, respectful no, is actually the best thing for them in the long run. And you being nice to them in the short term is not necessarily the best thing for them in the long term.
Here's a nice one. Not right now.
Or the other option is don't have candy in your house, and therefore they can't ask for it because you don't have it.
We don't have candy. Yeah.
If you're going to be strict with their candy usage, then the best option for that is to not have it in the house. You can't ask for something that's not there.
Remember that one person that put a little door, a frame with a little door, and they would put candy in there for their child, so their candy would go look behind the door and see if there's candy. Sometimes there was, sometimes there wasn't, but it kept them from asking for candy.
Did it though? I'm suspicious that prevented them from getting candy. Prevented them from asking for candy is no.
But he was very upset that the candy fairy wasn't real when he found out.
Yeah. But, such is life.
Santa Claus is next, yeah.
He's going to put together the tooth fairy and all the world is ended.
No, y'all are liars. You lied to me.
Yes, we lied to you about the tooth fairy. I'm kind of sad that you believed it until you were 8, but okay.
Or you could have a child that, is 30 years old and still believes in fairies. So,
Man, I don't disbelieve in anything yet.
But I don't help. I sent her Faye furniture to put out in the Faye garden outside.
Mm-hmm.
What was her birthday? It was Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys try to make moon water as well. So I'm not.
No, I gave that up.
Okay. All right. You are not failing. You are parenting in real time with real emotions and real stakes. The fact that you are trying, really trying, means far more than you think it does.
Yeah.
So from me and Lubby, have a good night. And please remember to love everybody.
Good night.
All right. All right, ready?
Okay, yeah.
And welcome back to Late Night Love. By the way, I'm Jazz. She's Lubby, and I forgot to introduce us for like the last 4 shows, I think. So hopefully everybody knows us by now, because we have no lower thirds or anything like that to do this. So just to remind everybody, I'm Jazz. She's Lubby. You can find us at latenightLove.us. And you can send us your questions, comments, suggestions, etc. to love@latenightLove.us. Do us the favor, hit the like, subscribe, share buttons, or whatever happens to be nearest on your whatever platform you happen to be hearing us on.
Yay.
Yeah, there we go. Got all that out of the way. Okay, relationships are rarely undone by one big moment. They fray in silence between the things we're afraid to say. Tonight we explore the longing to reconnect after years of distance, the trauma of leaving a toxic partner, the fear of not being interesting enough, the resentment that grows when someone stops trying, the ache of intimacy that's been missing for years. This is the part of the night where we tell the truth, even when it shakes us a little bit. All right. Oh, did I have this thing on? No. All right.
Okay.
This thing's got a new timer feature on it, and I keep hitting the timer without meaning to. Anyway, which may be a good thing, right?
I know.
I could do lower thirds if I wanted to. Yeah, I
Could.
suppose I could.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump in.
All right, what do we got?
Okay, this poor little thing. Reach out or not worth it. He's 25, she's 22.
Uh-huh.
I just don't want to regret not taking the chance if there is one. There's been 2 years, no contact.
Okay, so why is he?
She was the great love of his life so far in his 25 years.
Uh-huh.
And he is not finding that again out in the dating world, that deep connection that they had, and he misses it and he thinks about her all the time.
Okay, but why did they break up?
He didn't say.
So first question I always ask is, okay, but do you remember why you broke up?
No, he did not mention it.
Because because there's times one person wants to go off to school, one person's got to pursue a job in the other in another city. That's a vastly different thing than all the other ways, various ways. So the reasons people break up is actually very important, because as a general rule of thumb, I would say don't go backwards. Now, if it was something where, hey, I've got to go to one city, she got to go to another city, long distance relationships don't work. We're too young anyway. So, and it just wasn't the time. Wasn't the time, wasn't the place.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean the time and place can't happen later.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. If there was breaking up for other reasons, okay, they were young enough where people can change and blah, 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 blah. But really, you're just lonely.
Yeah.
In that particular case.
And I got news. You're gonna have more great loves in your life. You really will. And you're not leaving yourself open for one to happen. You really need to move on from this before you're going to be able to create something with someone else.
Well, and this is true. Each relationship is its own. You can't compare two. Stop comparing past.
Yeah.
Stop comparing the past two, because
it's going to be different.
Yeah. Well, this one isn't the same as that last one. Yeah, but that last one didn't work.
Yeah.
Regardless of the reason, it didn't work. So you don't want it to be the same. Quite literally.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be the same. What you are missing is feeling safe, and you haven't found somebody that makes you feel safe yet. And that's understandable. So now you're looking back for someone who makes you feel safe. It's a perfectly reasonable human emotion. But here's the thing. You're not going to feel safe until you feel safe within yourself.
Very wise.
Because you're not going to feel safe with her anymore either.
No.
If you get back with her, guess what you're going to be afraid of now?
Yeah.
You're going to be afraid of losing her.
Yeah.
And you're not going to feel safe.
No.
It's just going to be different.
Yeah.
So become a strong human being. Keep on trucking. You'll be all right.
You will.
Okay.
I have been in a very toxic relationship for 3 long years with my partner. Any suggestions to move on from the trauma?
Okay. Well, we were talking an abusive relationship or just a relationship that doesn't work for whatever reasons?
No, this was mentally, emotionally abusive, everything but physical.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. In any of these things, there's 2 stages. One is you just move, right? You move on. If it's not, you're not worried about necessarily a physical aspect of it. It makes it a lot easier, right? You don't have to go sneak off in the middle of the night. You can just leave.
With a restraining order.
Yeah, you likely don't need to go that far.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's at least the good thing of this. But ultimately, anytime when you move on from trauma, is you have to take ownership of it in order to move on from it. So you're going to have to accept that you played a role in it, at least in its extending. You accepted it, at some level.
And it understandably, it was something, I don't want to say sick and twisted, but there you have it, within us, because I've done this. I've stayed in a relationship. I told myself for the kids, I was scared. I was scared to be out on my own. I had believed all his lies. What are you going to do? Work at McDonald's? all those years, it wore me down, you know. And I went into counseling. It took me a year and a half to build myself up before I had the strength to leave. And if that's what you need to do it.
Yeah, and the answer,
I never regretted it.
And-
I never looked back.
and remember, the answer to what are you going to do? Work at McDonald's if I have to is the answer to that question, right? Anytime anybody tries to belittle you by saying, "Well, what are you going to do? Do this lowly thing?" The answer is, if I have to get away from your ass, yeah, damn straight. It's not even a question. I'm out.
I'm out of here. You want fries with that?
Yeah. So, but she's made the first step. She knows what she's got to do. Now she just has to execute it, and it's difficult because, like you said, she is likely afraid.
Yeah.
Even if she
believe the lie. You do.
Well,
and there will come a day where you're going to beat yourself up for why did I stay? And
well, fear of the difference is a big thing.
because we believed the lies and we were afraid.
Well, it's not even that. It's change is difficult.
That too. Yeah. All of a sudden you're out and you're alone. There's the other thing, fear of being alone.
The devil is right. The devil is better than the devil you don't.
Exactly.
And
what if the next guy is worse?
Yeah.
Because they're all like this. Yeah, that's another lie. And
yeah. So, but you know what to do. But the way to deal with any trauma is to take ownership of it, because then once you have ownership of it, then you can actually do something with it.
Yeah.
Until you own it, you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to do anything with it.
No.
That's good for you.
Hey, I went to my husband. I said, I can't live like this. And he looked at me in the eye and said, I'm happy. He's happy abusing you. Move. Let that sink in.
Yeah. So figure out your way to move on.
Is this a person you want to be with? No.
Yeah. Find a roommate. And go find a nurse as a roommate.
There you go.
I don't know. But take ownership of your trauma. That's the only way to get past trauma is to take ownership of it. And here's the thing. Should you have to? No. Is it your responsibility? No. But guess what? If you're going to get past it, you have no choice.
You have to do it. Seize the bull by the horn.
You have to do it, because that's the only way you can do anything with it.
Wrestle with it.
Until you've got it in your hands and it's your responsibility to deal with, you can't deal with it.
You can't change it. Yeah.
And then once it's yours, then you can do whatever the hell you want with it.
Yeah.
Now you've got it. It's yours to deal with, and you can do whatever the heck you want with it.
Yeah.
You can punt it into the next county if you feel like.
Carpe diem.
All right.
There we go.
What is next?
Okay. Am I not interesting enough for my girlfriend? She calls them boring.
Oh, we talk about,
they're both 18.
Yeah, we talk about the beginnings of a toxic relationship.
There we go, right there. Run.
This is just the flip side.
Run, honey.
If she's finding you boring, here's the thing. She's likely the one that's boring.
She's boring.
She can't sit with herself.
Yeah.
Now, here's what this generally means when you talk about women.
I got here's a news flash, and this is a solid truth I want you to remember. You are not put in this earth to entertain people.
Well, here's the thing.
That's not your job.
Here's the thing. She likely is one of these late ones. She wants to go out and have fun. And he's one of those people who doesn't. So if to her, he's boring. You don't want to go.
No, I have news for you. She wants him to go out and steal signs.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, she wants him to be edgy.
She wants to be the bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she doesn't. She's the toxic one. She gets off on being in dangerous situations. Far too many women get excited by almost being caught doing something.
I think this is why a large amount of cars are stolen by teens.
A lot of young men do a lot of dumb things because it makes the women they're interested in more interested in them. And it's not even counting the ones where they think this will make me interesting. No, we're not even going to count those. This will make me interesting to women. No, it's not going to, but we're not going to tap those. We're talking about
the woman they're with.
Yeah, we're talking about they have one and then they're doing stupid stuff. It's because she wants them to. She gets excited about it, so he's going to do it again because he gets the payoff later. He creates a little bit of danger. She gets herself excited. They go have fun in the back seat later on. That's how these things have worked for, This ain't nothing new.
You used to be cart and horse.
Behind the hay bales. There's nothing new about any of this. And here's the thing. You guys are looking for different things. Look for different people. That's my suggestion. She wants something different and you're not that. So why are you together? It's a very simple question. I know they're 18 and they don't know what they're doing, but this one's actually very simple.
Sorry, hon.
Yep. Okay.
Move on. Tell her she's boring. Okay. I am dating a guy who's been unemployed for months, but says every day that he applies for jobs every day. What do you make of it? It's legit, dude. It's hard out there.
Okay, but here is the thing. There are ways to get jobs if you need them, if you really want to do something. They're the jobs that suck, right? So if you really need a job and you live in any type of city, you go find your local fitness club, your 24-hour fitness or whatever it is. And they have such high turnover that you can almost always get a job there if you can show up on time. And do they suck? Yes.
Yeah. But it's a job.
It's a job.
And it's when you're employed, it's easier to get a job. I don't know why that is, but there you have it.
It's a quick screen.
Yeah.
Is what it is. When you've got to go through hundreds of applications, it's easy to just filter out the ones who other people think are worthy of hiring.
Oh man.
It's brutal.
It is.
But it is what it is. Which is why if you really need a job, you go for the ones nobody else wants to do. I watched a guy on TikTok. He runs a sewer company. And he says, if you ever really need a job and you're actually willing to work, you go to any large company that does things, construction company, a sewer company, and you go into the office, owned by a solo person, an entrepreneur or whatever. And he says, you go into the office and you apply to be a gopher. And you're going to be the one who's going to do everything that no one else wants to do. So she's got a highly competent, trained crew who actually go out and do very difficult things. They don't want to go stand in line at the DMV to turn in tags. They don't want to go,
yeah.
They don't want to go wash the trucks. They don't want to go clean the windshields. They don't want to go, right? They're highly paid. You don't want them sitting around washing trucks. You don't want them cleaning. You don't want them cleaning out the truck. You don't want all the little grunt work that needs to be done. You go find a job that you will be willing to do all the grunt work. And guess what? If you're willing to do all the crappy work at a place that literally deals with crap, but because you deal with crap, you get paid a lot. Trust us. How much did it cost us to fix a toilet for 20 minutes? The guy was here.
The guy was 20 minutes, literally. 3 of them.
It took 3 of them to do that?
Yeah.
It took 3 or there was 3?
There was 3.
Okay, so were 2 of them like trainees or something?
Well.
I'm assuming at least one of them was a trainee.
Yeah.
If not both, if not 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, one was the front man. One was the one who talked to me all the time. And the other 2 worked and would put in little comments here and there that weren't appreciated. It was an interesting dynamic.
Alrighty then. Well, our toilet doesn't leak anymore, so that's
20 minutes. It was,
yeah,
in and out.
And trust me, it was expensive 20 minutes.
They were courteous, they were friendly, and they were fast. So
they were expensive, but I suppose it's probably just it's probably what it costs to roll up, right?
I know
it probably was.
It does.
It was just all manual labor because it's 20 minutes, but that's probably what it costs to come out, have a plumber come out and look at your thing and fix it.
Yeah.
you're paying for them to fix it, not for how long it takes you to fix it.
Yeah. We're not paying by the hour.
No, you're paying by
A
the
job.
by the task. Why? Because then you're the slow plumber makes more money than the fast plumber. That's wrong. You want the good experienced plumber who can come in, get the job done quickly, and move on. You don't want the guy who's going to take half a day to do something that could take 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm willing to pay a little extra for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now we move on to our intimacy questions. Okay. Did I mess up my friendship with my best friend by agreeing to manually stimulate each other to completion multiple times? They're starting to have feelings for each other.
Go with it.
What? They're confused. It was just sex. What happened?
Well, imagine that. Well, you got a choice. You can either go with it or not, right? That's
Your options are just those two, really. Because you have moved past the friends with benefits now.
I mean, you can go back. It's probably not difficult. It's probably less difficult for men than it is for women.
To put an end to everything.
Well, because not the friendship, but to stop. Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Yeah, they could just stop doing that.
What's the matter with you guys?
They're bored and lonely.
Come on.
Oh, this is hardly the first people on the planet to have played with each other because they were bored and lonely.
Yeah, girls don't do that.
No, never happened. Oh, wait a minute.
You know what? I knew these two girls. They would go out they'd get ready to go out to the bar, you know? And part of their rituals was kissing while they were getting ready so they could get amped up.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
For guys.
Yeah, sure. Likely story. I'm just saying, look, if you guys are starting to catch the feelings, then catch the feelings.
Yeah, life is short, dude.
You know,
he's your best friend.
You guys
Who else you gonna love?
If you get, I mean, you agreed to go that far, so
I know. Something. You took that next step from best friend.
Well, okay, now
to being intimate.
Well,
what did you think was going to happen?
Well, okay, here's the thing. It's hardly because for men, a manual masturbation is hardly a next step. It doesn't even generally feel like sex type thing. And so they're in their bright minds, they were figuring, okay, this doesn't count.
Yeah.
We'll turn on some porn. We'll
do our thing.
It's more fun than doing it ourselves, I suppose.
No, it feels different.
Yeah.
When someone touches you and touching yourself, those two things feel different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But would you be surprised at the fact the person that you already have an emotional connection to because you're best friends, now that is giving you a physical attention that you are lacking in other places of your life, that you're now going to have stronger emotional connection to that person because of it? This is a shocker. It's almost like you don't know how human beings work. But you've got two choices. You either stop playing with each other. You can still be friends, not be best friends. Just stop playing with each other, or you knock yourselves out and see where it goes. It's your two choices.
Yeah.
Anything else is uncivilized. So, how's that for an answer? Okay,
my girlfriend and I haven't had sex in 2 years into our relationship, and I'm getting the urge to cheat. How can I communicate that without pressing her into something she isn't ready for? Okay, they've been dating and boyfriend, girlfriend, commitment, 2 years.
Okay.
No sex.
They're 23.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, if you haven't had, is it cheating if you haven't actually had sex yet?
They said, I don't know.
It kind of depends, doesn't it? Well, here's the thing. I think I hate to break this to you. She's not interested in you in that way.
Yeah. Sorry, hon.
Now, maybe she's just one of those people who are putting this off to marriage, and so it's a
You need to have a talk.
hard-coded moral thing, and which is fine. She said,
She may be waiting for a proposal,
yeah,
but she needs to let you know where her head is.
but here's my thing: the women who have that belief generally let their people they are with know this.
Right up front,
Yeah.
like on the third date.
Yeah, it's hardly a secret.
Yeah.
You're not going to not know this 2 years later because
Yeah.
it's part of who they are. It's
Well.
a fundamental part of who they are. They're not going to hide this for 2 years. So probably already have communicated that you are interested in going to the next step,
Yeah.
and she's just not interested in it, and so you have the choice of to continue the relationship or not.
You know, she just may be asexual. You know,
She's just not that into him, but you know, it's to be honest.
bottom line, she's not that into him. If she's asexual or not, you know,
Yeah,
she's just not that into him.
She's just not that into him.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some trauma or something there, but my guess is you've been more of a friend zone than a boyfriend would be my guess.
Sorry, hon.
Sorry. I'm just gonna guess. Again, unless she's got a very high moral code and she's waiting for marriage type of thing. And in that case, then you have to decide if that's the type of relationship you want. You both get to make that decision, right?
But I see this being an issue down the line if they get married. I see this rearing its ugly head again.
Not necessarily. If she's just waiting because then the same thing. It's her moral duty to pleasure her husband right when he needs it.
Mm.
So in a sense, it could work in his favor if depending upon her views on the reasons she's doing.
You could be that one couple, and they had written into it. They had a contract of behaviors. Like up by 7 o'clock every morning. But both of them had to be.
Mm-hmm.
That was a rule. She couldn't sleep in. Neither could he. Both up 7 a.m. And one of the things was they sex, twice a week.
Uh-huh.
That was in the contract.
That's easy to put in on a contract, isn't it?
So
okay.
So
what happens when one of you has knee surgery? How does that play into the contract?
No, sorry.
How does that play into the contract? How does real life play into that contract? I'm just trying to understand this. I don't think that's an enforceable contract, by the way. I think it's more of a vows thing. I don't think it's a work. I don't think you can take that to court, and I don't think that works. Sorry, I just don't think it's a valid.
You know me, I'd have to push it. I'd have to sleep in. What are you going to do about it?
You wouldn't sign it to begin with. It wouldn't be a thing.
That's true.
You'd be like me. What am I joining the Marines? What the fuck you get more leeway in the SEALs. What are you guys talking about? Get out of here. All right.
Okay, we got a last question.
Okay.
Now this woman is very hurt.
Okay.
She offered to give her husband a blowjob.
Uh-huh.
And he said, "Could you give me a back massage?"
Yeah. Because his back was hurting.
Yeah. That's all that it was.
And here's the thing, when your back's hurting, here, ladies, there's times when reasons you have a headache, the back is hurting. It's actually going to make the back worse because the instinctive things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you wanted to feel close to your husband, you wanted to help him feel better. Well, guess what? The best thing you could have done at that moment was give him a back massage.
Yeah.
Don't take it personal.
Yeah. He's back hurt.
He's not rejecting you. I mean, here's a moment for a bit of self-reflection, ladies. Okay. So put the shoe on the other foot for a minute. You don't like feeling rejected, do you?
No.
And even when he wasn't actually even rejecting you, he was actually being greatly appreciative. He was just saying, "Can you focus on a different part of me?" And then with a different part of you. Tonight, please. Any other night. Some nights are like that, right?
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
the next day, if you'd offered it the next day, 6 hours earlier, right? You could have gotten a vastly different hour to
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. Try not to take these things, just like you tell men, try not to take these things personal because it's
Yeah.
not personal.
It's not personal.
They're not in the mood. They've got pain, other things on their mind, 1,000 things that real life is.
Mhm.
And, even though I do applaud her for wanting to take some initiative. So there are lots of women who wouldn't take the initiative to offer.
I know.
So good for her. But
Keep trying.
if you're going to offer, you have to be,
You got to be flexible.
you got to be willing to, feel rejected on occasion because not everybody's going to be.
And I don't feel she was rejected. I feel she was just redirected.
Yeah.
And how many times do we do that to men?
Well, but she was feeling rejected. I was dealing with her feelings, not with reality.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
She's feeling rejected, which is where the emotions come from. And I get it. Men get this part. We feel rejected, right?
Yeah.
We get rejected all the time by the person we like. And it happens. And on the intellectual level, we completely understand it.
Mhm.
But on the emotional level, just like this, I feel rejected.
Yeah.
But you're not actually being rejected. It's just timing was bad, or back was hurting, especially as you get older, right? It's you're no longer the machines you are in your 20s. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Your backs hurt, knees hurt, hips don't work the way they used to. You can no longer run a mile. So your cardio isn't up to snuff. There's all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. All right. From me and Lovey, whatever you are facing, confusion, desire, regret, or hope, you are not the only one. You just had to figure out, and you don't have to figure it all tonight. Just breathe, let the truth settle, and let yourself be a little human. So from me and Lovey, have a good night. And please remember to love everybody.
Good night.